Well,
Welcome to episode number 12 of 718 Sports. I am joined with my co-host, number one Michigan fan of the world, now national champion football, uh, Isaiah. How we doing today? How we doing? Are we feeling good?
I'm doing great, Miles. How are you?
I'm doing all right myself. I'm rocking the Clark Athletic shirt today. It's got to represent best D3 school out there. Not really. Um, but yeah, you never know. One day we'll win something, right? I think that's the logic for the Detroit Tigers right now is one day we'll win something. Um, so yeah, welcome to episode number 12. Today we're going to be talking primarily about the start of the MLB season. I got a lot to say about my favorite team. I'm sure you have to say a lot about your favorite team. But just generally looking at the standings to open it up, we got the Yankees leading the American League East. They're on a tear. They're 12-4. You got the Guardians and the Royals who are competing for the number one spot in the AL Central. It's still very early, so standings aren't really that big of a deal. In the West, it's been kind of not great. The Rangers are 8-8. They're sitting at 500. They're in first place. The Astros are off to a really slow start. The Athletics are ahead of the Astros and Mariners, which is not what I would say.
Mhm.
Moving on the National League, just briefly looking at this, the Braves are 2 games up on everyone else. The Mets had a little bit of a turnaround. The Marlins are off to a tough start. The NL Central, the Pirates were to a red hot start, but the Brewers are also off to a red hot start, and they're actually ahead now in the NL Central. And then the Dodgers are in first place in the NL West, sitting at 11-7, but the D-backs and the Padres are sitting right behind them, only 2 games back each. And the Rockies are terrible, as we had predicted. So,
Mhm.
what is your biggest kind of takeaway? Like, what are you looking at this and saying that's kind of surprising? What's one of the most surprising things
I
you've seen
mean,
so far?
let me look at this right now. I'm going to talk about the AL West first. I think the AL West is really, really interesting this year. So far, my what I've been dying to talk about. I've been waiting all week to film this because I need to talk about Mason Miller. Mason Miller is disgusting. I believe he has to be over 30 now. 30 pitches of 101 plus. Everyone else is throwing like 17. This kid is elite. This kid is electric. He debuted last year. A little off to a shaky start, but he's coming this year and he's been a legit guy for the A's. So the A's are 7-9, which doesn't sound good, but it's third place in their division. They're above the Mariners right now. I mean, the A's are bad. They're gonna be bad. They sent SC Ruiz down. Like they're not gonna be a good team, but Mason Miller is a great, great pitching prospect. This is the future of the A's, and I mean, he's disgusting. He is the ace for the next couple of years. I love the way it's going, but the ALS is just bad. Like as you said, the ALS Astros off the worst start in the last decade, I believe. They're really, really bad. The White Sox are disgustingly bad. We'll talk about the Tigers in a little bit. We talk about the Yankees, but I'm surprised the Guardians are doing so well with Shane Bieber out for the whole year. They're at 11-5 right now. The Royals are also the Royals. I think we talked about them for hours. The Royals are off to a great start. That team is disgusting right now. Cole Reagans or Regans, I don't know, but whoever it is, that he is probably a top five left in the MLB right now. He's just gross. Curveball changeup is gross. Fastball comes in at you hard. He's a great guy from the left side. We all know about Bobby Witt. Vinny Pasquantino has been really good for them this year. Salvador Perez was off to a tear. He is now day to day after a collision to home plate yesterday. But the Royals team, if Salvador Perez comes back soon, I didn't have faith in them before, but they're really competing for a spot now in the playoff. And then
What did I tell you
looking
in
at
that
the AL
prediction
East,
video? I told you the Royals were going to be a good team.
I know, honestly, I forgot about that. You weren't lying. I mean, you saw something I didn't see. I think they're still missing a lot, but that team looks good. They have a decent amount of pitching now. They're still missing some bullpen pieces, but the hitting's definitely there. They have the position guys. But yeah, no, looking at the AL East, I mean, Yankees are off to a tear. I think you could talk about that for hours, but nothing really
We
surprises
don't
me
we don't want
there.
we don't want me to talk
Um,
about the Yankees for hours. That's gonna bore everyone.
yeah.
I'm gonna get my own. I
I
mean,
mean,
we'll be talking about the Yankees in this episode, but not for an hour
of
because
course, yeah.
no one wants to. Even my own father, I was calling him literally for an hour last night. He's like, "All right, all right, all right, all right." He's like, "I gotta."
Wow, it's that bad?
Yeah, it's getting bad, and then it's funny because I forget like my family and myself. We watch Yankees games religiously, like almost every night it's on in the summer, and I kind of forgot that. So like I called him the other day, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm watching the game right now. You call me back, and I'm like, oh, like great.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but the Yankees are off to a
Yeah.
tear. But continue
I
what
mean,
you're
yeah. Just to add on to that too, like looking at the National League, like I don't think either expected the Marlins to be this bad. The Marlins are the second worst record in baseball right now. They're at 3-13. They're doing disgustingly bad for a team that has promise. They both up. They have promise. They made good offseason offseason moves. But this team is good. I don't know how they're doing this bad. The Nationals won three more games than that. The Nationals have nobody in the major leagues right now who is at the same level as some of the players in Miami. Mets have been horrible. Braves and Phillies are going to be good. Castellanos is going to be he's had a big week ahead of him. But I mean, looking at the National League Central too, like I believe you had the Cubs winning the Central. Is that correct?
The Cubs in the
I
Central.
believe. Did you have the Cubs winning the Central?
Oh, I did have the Cubs in the Central. Yes,
Yeah, they're in
it's
fourth
close
place
though.
right now.
It's close. It's really
It
close.
is close. I mean, the fact that the Pirates are doing as well as they have. I mean, Jared Jones. We talked with him before the season started. He had a really good spring training. Carried it over. Quinn Priest's been solid. Mitch Keller has been really solid. Their bullpen is really good. Aroldis Chapman sitting at like 100 miles an hour at his age is might not ever happen again. The only guy who could possibly do it too is a guy in their system who's going to come up this year, Paul Skeens. So the fact that they have an ace potential player coming up in their system later this year, they're going to be gross. I mean, and Brewers Jackson Trino, he's a great player, but honestly, the Pirates might be able to win the division this year. It's really early, but they look really good. And
Andrew
then I mean,
McCutcheon
look the
also
AL
hit his
West.
300th home run. Did you see
Yeah,
that? That
I
was a
did see that.
pretty cool moment. It was a
Yeah.
young Pirates fan who caught it, so that was really a sweet moment there. Um,
But
yeah,
yeah, please, give me all your takeaways. I talked for a while. NL West is disgusting. Like we all know what's gonna happen, but I want to hear everything you saw from the standings this week.
yeah, it's funny. I love doing this podcast with you. Like those TikToks talking about yappers. This is what my co-host is like. He loves to yap. We love to yap about baseball, man. It's awesome. It's fantastic. It's so fun. Um, we're gonna save the Yankees till the end, just because I have a lot to say, a lot of good to say, but a lot to say. Looking at the National League East, the Mets had a bit of a comeback here. They did not start off very hot, and I was a little concerned that they were not going to do so well, but they just won two back-to-back series against the Braves and the Royals. Those are two red hot teams. So really cool to see them coming back a little bit. They've won 7 out of their last 10 games. They look pretty strong. Nationals are right behind them too. The Marlins are off to a terrible start. Kind of surprising because they have some guys on their roster. I mean, they have Tim Anderson, they have Sandy on their rotation. So
Luis Arias, but Sandy's out for the year.
Sandy is out for the year, but
Yeah.
still, a little surprised that the Giants are doing as bad as they are. Doesn't look great for my take that they're going to win the NL West, but I think they'll bounce back into it, and I think they'll lock in and they'll be ready to go pretty soon. Moving on to the American League. I actually went to the Sox Orioles game. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. How tell the fans how that was.
That was a great game. This was what was it, the 11th of April, and the
Was that Jackson Holiday's second game?
second game. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Also
Pretty
to
cool
add on
moment.
that, he had a horrible debut weekend. I think did he
Terrible.
even get a hit?
Terrible. He played
He had one
terrible.
hit, right?
One hit.
I have to say, like I think there was a lot of hate out there about Jackson Holiday and having one hit in his debut. It was his first week playing in the MLB. Cut him some slack, like first week. But you actually got to see him play, so tell me how that was.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at it and I'm sitting in Fenway, I'm sitting in the outfield, and I'm sort of saying to myself, like, this is a really cool place to have your MLB debut. Because if you like debuted somewhere lame like Target Field in
Kansas City.
Minnesota,
Yeah.
you said Yankee Stadium.
I said Kansas City, but
Oh, yeah, I mean
every
Kansas
AL
City.
Central team's
I
a
don't know. I
boring place
like
to debut.
Kauffman Stadium. I like that one. They have the cool like
Fair.
their logo on the screen. I think it looks cool, and they have like the waterfall and stuff. I don't like that take. But stadiums like Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, Yankee Stadium, PNC Park, those are great. Those are classic ballparks. And the fact that Jackson Holiday had his first opening series against a division rival in one of the most iconic venues in sport. I think I like Wrigley a little more just because I don't like the Red Sox like that. But a lot of pressure under the lights. It's a cool environment. Red Sox fans are loyal, man. They're really dedicated. I don't know if I'd be so dedicated to watch their team, that team play like that. I got the tickets for free, so I don't really care. I'm not going to say no to a free Red Sox game, but they don't look that great. They don't look that great. They really messed it up at the end. They were up. It was 3-3 heading to the ninth inning. Heading to the 10th inning, they lost 9-4.
Jeez.
The Orioles scored 10 runs in the top of the 10th, or 6 runs at the top of the 10th, excuse me. And Gunnar hit a bomb. Gunnar hit a bomb, like four
Connor
feet
Harrison is
left field.
legit.
He's a dog, man. They're really good.
I
And
don't
they,
think we've talked about too how good their AAA team is. Kobe Mayo
yeah,
stayed
the
down there,
Norfolk
Winston
Tides. Yeah.
Kershaw.
Oh my God.
Their team is like the pipeline that they're gonna have in the next couple of years. If guys pan out the way they want to pan out, they could potentially have. I think about I think it's 2016 Cubs team, whose entire infield in the All-Star game was Cubs players. Like that's the potential I could see. I could see Rutschman at home, Mountcastle at first. Give me, I don't even know, probably Colby Mayo at second. Give me Holiday at short and Gunner at third. I would not be surprised in the next couple of years if all those guys get at least another couple All-Star selections.
Yeah. And I actually did some research with the Norfolk Tides for the Umpire channel. So I got to dive in a little deep. They had Colton Wong on their team at one point a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
which was kind of surprising to me. He was released recently, but still, I mean, the Orioles have the number one prospect system, number one farm system. Excuse me. They have arguably the best team in baseball, arguably the youngest team in baseball. Um, Really crazy turnaround. Like they were terrible for a long time. So really excited to see where this team grows. And I was talking to a couple of the guys at the ballpark, and they were talking about how the Orioles they need to win now. The Orioles need to
Mm.
win now. Their window is the next year or two because after that, Gunnar and Adley and Santander, Mountcastle, even Mullins and Holiday, when they get good, they're going to want the big contracts, and the Orioles can't afford to pay all those young players that kind of money.
Can
So
I tell you why I don't think it's gonna happen? I think, especially in the last couple of years, especially in the last year, signing young players to long-term deals has become very, very popular. I believe, Alcantara, I believe that's his name, from, yeah, it's Rafael Alcantara from Boston, signed like an 8-year deal. This is his rookie season. I mean, Chirino did it. Colt Keith did it. A lot of rookies are doing it. A lot of young players doing it. So I would not be surprised if they go the Braves route and signing these guys now. Sign all your top guys to long-term deals while they're young. So when they're at their peak and they're that $300 million player, you're only going to be paying them like $10 million. That saves you money. The team now has a lot more money. We saw they got Corbin Burns this offseason. I think that the Braves and the Orioles are both in there. I think the Braves have a lot more experience under their belt, but as you said, like the Orioles are a win now, but they're gonna have to make some moves. I think we're in touch with them too, but I'm not a big Yankees guy, but the Yankees look really good. There's a lot of teams right now. I know it's early, but there's a lot of teams competing and a lot of teams that look really, really good. And they're also seeing teams like Miami, teams like Colorado, who we knew were going to be like so to bad, but those teams are out of the race already. Like we can tell from the start these teams are out. But I mean, if you want to talk about them now, I will talk about the Yankees because the Yankees have been off to a great
let's do
start.
it. So, as you know, I'm a diehard Yankees fan. I watch basically every game religiously. Kind of heartbroken right now because the Yankees are playing right now as we're filming this. They're losing, but it's all right. It's the Blue Jays. They're a good team. No, not really, but they're not as good as the Yankees, but they're still a good team. Yeah. So they go out. They've won every series so far. Um, they're slowing down a little bit, which I think is to be expected. I mean, they literally started like 10-2, or something ridiculous like that. That's a really good start. Won the first two games in Cleveland, dropped the last. The last game was rough. They were up 7-5. They lost 8-7 in extra innings, and a lot of defensive miscues by Volpe and Torres. Just not a great look defensively, but whatever. What are you going to do? One game and life moves on. That's the thing about
Mm.
baseball. Football, like if you have a bad loss in football, you have to sit with it for an entire week.
Yeah, that
Like,
that one that individual loss matters a lot more than baseball. I think same thing with basketball too. It's like basketball, one loss that can be your season, but at the end of the day, you're playing again like the next day. Like that's the best part of baseball. Like every single game is it's gonna matter, but one loss won't kill you.
right. Um, but yeah, like football, like so many weeks as a Giants fan, I'm sitting there after a brutal loss, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell to do. I have to sit with this for a week now and be like, well, they're playing the Eagles next week. You know what I mean? Like they're one of those situations. Now with the Yankees, it's like, all right, well, whatever. 7:05 tomorrow, we'll be back. And
Mhm.
then tomorrow we're gonna be back. And then the next day we're gonna be back. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like every single day of the week they're playing, basically. I mean, they take a
Mhm.
day off once in a while, but basically practically every day they're playing a new team, and that's really great, really cool. And one of my favorite parts about baseball is too is you play the same team 3 or 4 times in a given series, so you really get to learn about the team. You get to like have a little mini playoff series within the series. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Yankees look really good, man. I mean, Soto looks amazing. Judge, I think, is off to a little bit of a slower start than I'd hope, although he had a pretty,
Really?
yeah, he's back in like 220 right now. Not really what I want to see. Still though, Judge, he'll bounce back. He'll be fine. Volpe is doing amazing. I mean, Volpe's hitting like 370 and like stealing bags. I think defensively he could be a little better, but I mean, come on. If you're hitting 370 and your OBP is above 400, you're playing really
Yeah,
well.
I mean, he's a defensive shortstop too. Last year
Yeah,
proved it. Like he was a rookie Gold Glove player. So him hitting, everyone knows the defense is there. So him hitting good is a very good sign.
exactly. Verdugo
I
could be.
also just want to hop in real quick.
Oh, Oswaldo
I
Cabrera.
yeah,
He's been playing really well as well. He's been playing his ass off. And it's interesting because the Yankees don't really have a starting third baseman as of right now because John Birdie's out and LeMahieu's out long term. So he's going to be taking that spot. He's going to get some more at bats. So that's really
yeah.
cool.
I also want to hop in and shout out my friend Sam Custal because I was hating on Giancarlo Stan losing all this weight in the offseason. And now every single home run that Stan slams over the ballpark, I get sent a million times by Sam Custal. Giancarlo Stan has really surprised me this year too with the weight loss, but the fact that he's still hitting balls the way he can. And he looks very healthy. Like, if you have a I think the levels of full season players of like you want Mike Trout at one, Byron Buxton at two, and then the third player with the biggest potential for a full healthy season would be Giancarlo Stanton. If this guy's in the lineup the entire year, give me 100 games of Giancarlo Stanton, the Yankees are going to win. I'm going to say 75 of those. The Yankees would be in very good shape if Giancarlo Stanton is in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Stanton so far, as of right now, it is April 15th, and it's not including this game they're playing against the Blue Jays, hitting 250, 13 hits on 52 ABs. 4 of them are homers. You see the grand slam against the Blue Jays the other day?
I sadly did see that because I got sent a
Nuke.
million
It was
times.
a nuke. I was actually watching that in my dorm room, and I wasn't too into the game. I was just kind of like on my phone, like just kind of like watching and like just going on my phone, texting or playing Candy Crush or whatever. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like watching. I was like, oh, bases loaded, good start, stands up. And he hits it. I'm like, oh, I got a noise complaint about it. So, it's pretty great. Yeah, Big G's been playing really well. He's been playing out of his mind. I think the thing that drives me crazy about being a Yankees fan is how emotional Yankees fans are. Have you noticed how emotional we are?
I mean,
After
I hate
one
Yankees
loss,
fans.
one loss, one loss, one loss, I see comments, send Glaber to the moon, this defensive miscues, Rizzo doesn't know on the field, Volpe
That's
doesn't.
why everyone hates Yankees
I
fans,
don't
bro. That's the
understand. I
fact. That's
don't
the
understand.
fact. That's what only Yankees
I'm like,
fans.
dude, I'm like, guys, yeah, and I made this in my TikTok on Miles Talk Sports about talking Yanks. I was like, guys, we need to relax a little bit. It is one game with like a couple bad defensive miscues. I understand it's frustrating because it was a frustrating loss. It's a game they should have won, and they went out and said, "We got to be better than that. We can't do that again." But you're not going to say the season's over and we're cooked because you think these championship teams never face adversity, excluding like the
I think
20,
the difference is that
excluding
the
like the
fans actually
2018
like
Warriors.
their players.
Yeah, excluding like the 2018 Warriors, like these teams have faced like adversity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think that's a great analogy too. But
The
I actually
Rangers
want to talk
didn't win
about
the division last year. They won the World Series. Doesn't matter.
true. Yeah, I want to talk about the pitching for the Yankees because that's the thing that really hasn't impressed me. We all saw Nastor with that fake throw yesterday in the pitch. Really as a pitcher that really impressed me to stay balanced and do all that. But they need Garrett Cole back. I really haven't seen the same level of like dominance from the pen, and the starters are still like Rodon's still trying to get back to that like prime Rodon shape. Nestor's really fighting for a spot. They don't really have Stroman's been solid. I'll get it. Stroman's been solid. Not the all-star caliber player that they wanted to bring in, but I think their pitching is really the issue. And I mean, the thing about it, Jason Dominguez is going to be up later this year, so they have pieces to trade. It's just, do you? I think personally they should trade for pitching. That was the emphasis in the offseason. Everyone thought they were going to get Blake Snell, so I really think there's guys in the market. Like I can't. Oh my God, for the Josiah. No, not Josiah Gray's not getting traded. There's guys in the market. I said there's pitchers on the market right now who the Yankees can easily attain from trading prospects or players. But I think that's what they should do. But I want to hear your opinion on this Yankees pitching staff.
I think you're overreacting. Is that was what I think you're saying? The Yankees have the number two bullpen in the league according to StatMuse. In terms of ERA, they're 2.90 ERA behind the Red Sox. The Red Sox have the number one bullpen as of right now, which is kind of interesting. Um, yeah, so they don't have the big names, but as long as they're getting the strikeouts and getting not avoiding walks and avoiding home runs, doesn't matter. Garrett Cole, I think that's the part that makes me really excited. Is when if I don't think I have a feeling Garrett Cole is not coming back. Players don't come back from these kind of injuries. Uh,
Really?
I don't think he's
You
coming
think
back.
he's out for the year
I think he's done for the year.
on right elbow inflammation? Actually, you
This
know
is the
what?
Yankees we're talking. Hold on, this is the Yankees we're talking about. This is
Yeah.
a team that oh yeah, all right. Well, Judge has some back soreness, or
Well, yeah. Actually, I want to
his
add to
toe
that.
hurts
Do
for a
you
minute, and
think?
then he's out for like two
Do you
months.
think? Yeah. Do you think with the amount of pitcher injuries this year, especially with let's see, Bieber's out for the year, Strider's out for the year, like those were off about already this year. Alcantara, there's so many guys out for the year. Do you think that let's say what? It's been less than a month of baseball. Let's say in June. Let's say early June or mid-June. Mid-June, Garrett Cole is healthy to pitch. Do you sit him out for the entire year or for longer to not to try to forgo injury, or do you try to get him back in there to work up to be postseason Garrett Cole? Do you
No,
risk sitting him for his
You
safe
put
health?
Garrett Cole in the game. You have to put Garrett Cole in the game because if you're trying to win a championship, even a riddled, not 100% Garrett Cole is still better than a lot of pitchers in the league.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and not only that, but you know, let's say Garrett Cole goes out there, he pitches to a 4.0 ERA and doesn't strike out as many. He's lost, he's not there. As long as he's not getting hurt, it's fine. Like if it's hurting him, then he shouldn't be pitching. If he's fully healthy
Mm-hmm.
and like him throwing is not going to harm him, obviously he's going to be on innings restrictions and he's going to have to work his way back up. But
Mm-hmm.
probably have a few bullpen games with Garrett Cole. But at the end of the day, I mean, Garrett Cole's Garrett Cole. He's the best pitcher in the league. You're paying him for a reason. And I think it's going to be interesting, especially if the Yankees get desperate in terms of, let's say, the standings are really close, or, if they're in first place, like by a huge margin, like 12, 15 games come like July, May, or not May, July, August, and they're up 15 games. I think they'll still put Garrett Cole in there, but they're not going to use him in the same way as if they were to use
Mm-hmm.
one or two games up. They'll probably just put him in the bullpen, give him some reps, and then get ready for the playoffs. But even if Garrett Cole comes back, I still don't think he's going to be a game one starter. I don't think he's going to be a game seven starter. I think he's going to be used in a very different way because of this injury. And around Rodon's off to an incredible start. I've been really impressed with Carlos Rodon, especially after his season last year. Nestor could be a little better. Stroman's off to a really strong start. Though opening day, Stroman looked really good. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
he didn't allow a single run in opening day. So, and yeah, the Yankees still lost, but if you pitch 7 innings and don't allow a run, you're probably going to win the game, like under most scenarios.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just like the offense didn't click that day. So Stroman's been great. Rodon's been great. I think Nestor could be a little better. I think Nestor is one of those one-hit wonder guys. I'm sorry. Like I don't like saying it, but I think Nestor is one of those like he had one or two good years. He's not the same player since. Kind of similar to DJ LeMahieu. I think those are two guys in his roster that are like I think one-hit wonders, 1 year wonders that just like didn't really pan out the way I think the Yankees and their fans would hope. Um, their bullpen's been good. They lost Jonathan Loaiza to injury, which kind of is a bummer. But Clay Holmes has been really strong, as always. He's one of the most dominant relievers in the game. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's been so many new bullpen additions that I can't even keep up with some of these guys. I know they
Hmm.
got Ferguson from the Dodgers, Caleb Ferguson. He's been pretty solid. But I mean, there's some guys coming in. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? You know what I mean? And then they throw one
Yeah.
strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. I'm like, all right, fine with me. I'm not going to
Hmm.
complain. If they're going there and they throw, fastball down the middle, 2-run home run, then that's one thing. But if they're getting the job done, doesn't matter. I don't care who's in there. Doesn't matter.
Hmm. Hmm.
And their coach,
And
Mac
yeah.
Blake, is a really good pitching coach. So
Yeah, on that note, I want to switch it up. I want to hear your right now the two. I wanted to hear a pitcher and a hitter who've been most surprising to you so far throughout this MLB season. I already have my two, so I want to hear your two.
most surprising,
So yeah, give me one hitter and one pitcher who just surprised you for how well or how bad they played so far this season.
yeah. I think how well they've been playing. I think Anthony Volpe of the Yankees. I know. I don't. I know. I'm talking about the Yankees a lot, but damn, Anthony Volpe's playing really good baseball. He's playing really good. He's hitting above 350. His OBP is above 400. He's playing really solid baseball. He's leading the league in statistic categories. And, there's it's still really early in the season, right? But we're not like really, really early. We're starting to get like, all right, these are the good teams, these are the bad teams. We've started to open the standings up a little bit. We've started to kind of take a look at what flaws teams have, what strengths teams have. But Volpe's been really, really strong, and I'm really excited to see what he has to take. Um, in terms of pitchers, this is a really, really, really tough one. I got to think about this. So I kind of want to hear your hitter.
I mean, my hitter for how well they've been playing is Bobby Witt Jr. I have him on my fantasy baseball team, and he's just cranking out points for me. Everyone knew coming into this year that he is the top 25 player in baseball, one of the best young players, but the way he's been playing is just superb. He's, I think that they might have fleeced him on how much they're paying him because he's getting a big contract, but he's the best person in baseball right now. As of today, I'm saying Bobby Witt will continue to be the best shortstop in the MLB the rest of the season and possibly next year. I think he's fighting for an MVP spot, MVP right now. Like honestly, like his glove is there. His glove is Gold Glove guy every year, and his bat is just amazing. For a guy who has the potential of stealing 40 bags, he's like Acuna, but he's a shortstop. This kid can do whatever. He can hit. He can field. He can throw. He can do whatever you need him to do, and he's been so good. He demolished Hunter Brown last week against the Astros. They won by like 11. They scored like 9 in the first two. It was just Bobby Witt is a generational player, and I didn't see it soon enough, but I'm seeing it now. Johnny Bobby Witt is going to be running that division if all goes well for the Kansas City Royals. He's gross. My pitcher, I love Mason Miller. I would have talked about Mason Miller more, but I talked about it already. So my pitch for how bad they've been is I'm gonna talk about Josh Hader. Josh Hader really has surprised me for how bad he's been doing to start the year. He's gotten a little better recently, but to start the year, he did not do well. Yankees got some hits off him. I forgot who they played the next series, but he blew another save. He has not been the same pitcher he's been. I think that from his prime season in Milwaukee to San Diego, you could see the fall off. He became a little inconsistent, but he looks even worse than he did in San Diego. I know it's still really early in the year, but with guys like that, especially closers, like you need your closer because just year in and year out. I saw David Bednar blew a save and the media was slamming him, but Josh Hader was not looking good and no one said anything because it's early in the season. But I'm more worried about the Astros and especially Josh Hader and that bullpen than but any other team. That team relies on its bullpen. And when their star they brought in the offseason isn't playing well, it's really concerning to me.
So I have an interesting pitcher for you. I totally agree with you on the Josh Hader stuff. I think he's not been playing very well. I think there's been a lot of issues. I kind of disagree with you. I think San Diego, he was pitching not maybe not as strong as he was in Milwaukee, but he's still a pretty solid pitcher in my
I
opinion.
think that the year he was traded was an off year for him.
Oh
Following
yeah,
year
the
was
year he was
fine,
traded was
but the year he
awful.
was traded in San Diego, I believe he let up like 10 runs in his first like 3 appearances.
Yeah,
His
so that's pretty
first year in San
bad.
Diego was not good. Last season, I think was a very good season for him.
Yeah, his ERA was like 40 plus on the Padres.
Something crazy.
Like something ridiculous. And I was like, oh, well, that's not good. Um, I have a sneaky one. People haven't really been talking about him. Tyler Glass now of the Dodgers. Pull up his stats right here. 24 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 29 strikeouts. Pretty impressive. To be fair, he was playing the Twins, the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Padres. in his outings.
Wins
But
are wins though. Wins are
wins
wins
are
in
wins,
MLB.
and they're still solid teams. And 5 innings pitch, 6 inning pitch, 7 innings pitch. He's off to a great start. And remember, he's coming off an injury.
I was gonna say, yeah.
He's coming off of injury. He's actually playing tonight. So, hopefully he pitches well tonight. Because if not, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one. Watch him like give 10 runs up in the first inning. And then I'm gonna be hated on. But yeah, he's been playing really, really good baseball. He's been pitching really strong. His stuff has really been there, and I've been impressed. I've been impressed because I did not like the signing. I thought it was a bit of a risky signing for the Dodgers because you're coming to a guy who's not really been. And honestly, a lot of the. You know what? I'm gonna say something. The Tampa Bay Rays are the Miami Heat of MLB. Think about it. Players like a Max Strus, right? Max Strus like only played well with the Heat pretty much, and now he's on the Cavs. He's not playing as strong.
I mean,
Maybe
but
not
wouldn't you
Max
say
Strus.
that Glass now is potentially playing better now that he's in Los
Yeah,
Angeles?
but like the I feel like a lot of the Rays players don't really perform as strong as they do in Tampa Bay, in my opinion.
Okay. I agree with you on that point about Tampa Bay being the Miami Heat until you just said that because Blake Snell won a Cy Young after
Okay, fair. I was thinking
leaving
that
Tampa
as I
Bay.
said, I was like, yeah, maybe that's
Yeah,
not the best
I
way to
think
frame
you're
it.
correct though. I think there's it's baseball's a really like it's centralized around bringing guys up through your system. That's how you win a lot of games now. And I mean, Tampa Bay has done it really, really well. The Braves are starting to do it. The Dodgers do it. Um, Baltimore is doing it. You're seeing a lot more teams. I'm gonna throw the Tigers in a minute, but a lot of teams are building from within now. And I mean, it's you can tell there's like the care and development is there. I think Tampa Bay was the initial team to start that, especially with their World Series teams. The Blake Snell team that really didn't have anybody besides Blake Snell. Can you remember anyone else besides Blake Snell and Randy Rosarena?
On the
Mike
Rays,
Zanino?
Mike
Yeah, on
Zunino,
that
Kevin
Braves team.
Kiermaier.
Oh yeah, Kiermaier, I'm dumb.
You don't remember Kiermaier? What are you, a
I forgot
baseball
Kiermaier was
fan?
there, but
What?
that team was
Wander
full of
Franco.
guys who were like, I don't think no, he wasn't on the World Series team.
Oh no, he
It was the
wasn't.
next year.
Who? Oh,
Let's
what
say
was it?
Joey
Brandon
Wendell.
Lapp. You don't remember Brandon
Yeah,
Lapp?
Joey. Yeah, these are like guys who are like have had so careers, but when they come together in a team like that, it's a team of role players. Like they create superstars, and I really love that. About the Rays. And talking about the Rays, I want to hear about your team of the week. I want to hear the what team that we should be watching out for this week and just watching them on TV. Who,
Oh
what
God.
does the Miles Capone take? Who should the fans be watching this week? What MLB team and why?
I mean, you know what I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm not gonna say them. I'm gonna say the New York Mets. I'm gonna go a little cross town. I'm gonna say the New York Mets.
I
Listen,
need to hear why. I need to hear why.
I've been impressed. And it's hard for me to be like, I'm impressed with the New York Mets, but they really turned it around against the Royals. They turned it around against the Braves. Those are good teams. Those are really good teams. And the fact that a team can face adversity like they did in that first series when you're at a low and then they come right back at you and they defeat the Braves and the Royals in a series, it's impressive. And then look at this. They're playing the Pirates, the Dodgers, and the Giants in their next series. So I think these are going to be really telling of the New York Mets. I think if they're tied with the Pirates right now, 3-3, bottom of the seventh, as of this recording. But they're playing the Pirates, they're playing the Dodgers. Those are two really good teams that are kind of killing it right now. And I really want to see the character of the New York Mets. I think this is a team to look out for. Am I saying this is the best team in the league this week? No, I'm not saying that. But your question was, what was the team to watch? The team to watch is the New York Mets. Is this going to be a make or break year for the New York Mets? Because I think these two series are going to be very telling about how the Mets play baseball and how the Mets are going to face adversity against two really strong teams. Are they gonna roll over, or are they gonna really go at them and punch you in the mouth? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Time will tell, sir. Time will tell. I like that take. Do you like that take?
I love that take. I think I wasn't expecting you to say the Mets, and I think you made a very good point. The Mets had a very bad start of the year, especially against the Tigers. They blew I believe two leads against Tigers, but that team is so interesting. They still have a lot of good prospects. Like they're gonna be a fun team, especially when Cody Senga comes back. It's gonna be a fun team. So I mean, yeah, you just can't hate the Mets. Like Seinfeld love them, so you gotta love them.
Well, what's your team? Let me hear your team.
So I have two teams to watch for this week. One is my favorite team. We all know the Detroit Tigers. They've had a weird start to the year. They were the last undefeated team before losing to the Mets. And they have a interesting team. I love their starting pitching. I think their pitching is what's carrying them so far. Tariq Skubal probably could win a Cy Young this year. Casey Mize has been great. Matt Manning's been great. Um, they have Jackson Jobe maybe coming up this year. We don't know, but their bullpen's really good. Jason Foley was the number one ranked reliever this week, by MLB Network or MLB.com. I really wanted to. Like, don't quote me on that, but I know he was ranked number one. But I like Alex Lang. I like their bullpen. They have a very strong pitching staff that I really, really like. Really fun to watch. Hitting's been inconsistent. They still have guys. They still have Riley Green, Torkelson. They do sadly still have Javi Baez, who's hasn't been great, but Cole
No,
Keith's been
he's been
good. I
pretty
like that
terrible,
team.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna be a fun team to watch, especially for just watching good classic baseball. AJ Hinch is a really good manager, so if you want to watch really good classic baseball, please watch the Tigers. Really fun team to watch, and then more excitingly, watch the Pirates. The Pirates are looking really good for a team full of young players. McCutcheon has 300 home run. This is his second year back after like 6 years, and this is the best they've looked since those playoff years when McCutcheon was on the team. The team is super good. They have a lot of young prospects. They have a lot of guys who might come up this year. The team is just so good. They have Henry Davis, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Brian Reynolds, Aroldis Chapman. I'm going to say Bednar, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones. This team is full of stars, and they're playing really well. And if you want to watch really good, exciting baseball, and basically you're going to love to watch the Pirates. The Pirates are really fun right now. They're really young. They have a great mix of veterans and rookies, and it's a really Pittsburgh's place to be right now. Pittsburgh is the baseball city to be. They look really fun, and that atmosphere just looks amazing down there.
Yeah, I really like that take. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, good sir. And that's pretty heartbreaking. But you're saying Pirates, Tigers, and I'm saying the Mets are the teams to look out for. Two National League teams. Interesting. Two guys who love the American League are talking about the National League. So that's pretty interesting. And unlike you, I was original and chose not my favorite team because originally I was gonna be like, oh, the Yankees. Oh, I
Wow.
love the Yankees. I'm saying everyone should watch the Yankees. We're the best team in baseball, after all. But I really like those two teams, and I think the Pirates is great. The Tigers are fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna disagree with that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Episode 13 will be coming up very, very, very soon. So keep an eye on that. And I will see you all later at a different time. God bless. Have a great night and enjoy. Watch some baseball and watch some
Watch
NBA
some
basketball.
baseball. Watch the Pirates, the Mets, and the Tigers. We said it here first. Go
Pirates.
watch them.
Watch the Mets and the Pirates play each other tomorrow, tonight, whatever.
Yeah.
Wednesday, April 17th, 1:10 p.m. Skip school and watch them. Do it. Peace, guys.